Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I welcome you to this wonderful, very short program this evening. I will start from greeting my Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Arabeze. I greet my Prime Minister, Mazin Simon Ibanjoku. I greet my President, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu. I salute and I greet all of you. And also I welcome all of you in this wonderful evening and all the well-meaning Biafrans around the globe. Please, as I welcome you, please endeavor to welcome one another. And as you join me, please, may you like and share the program so others may know that we are live and we are direct this wonderful evening. This is the only way we send this message to every Biafrans to understand it clearly. To avoid crying had I know at last. That is why we are not relent, we are not stopping, no matter what happened on this planet, that we continue on this way of preaching this message to the entire world so they may understand that the people of Biafra has made up their mind that we want a peaceful country. That is why the Biafra Exile government is maintaining a very peace-loving country. And we accepted the 21st century laws. We rejected the 18th century's laws. We also rejected the 20th century laws, and we accepted the new 21st century laws, which is a peaceful declaration with government from the government in exile of United States of Biafra as our own country. We have declared what? We have accepted, we have abided by the law, and we have agreed that one thing that is very constant in life is changing. So the Biafra movement has changed in a way that will suit us and also prove to the world that who we are, that we are peace-loving people. We are abiding peace-loving law people who respect humanitarian rights, who has rights and know the right things to do. That is who we are. So in this 21st century, we are letting the world to understand that your constitution of 21st century, that only way to have a new country is by peaceful declaration. And also you make it openly for us to understand that government in exile with a peaceful declaration is number one, is more important than military regime or military group in this 21st century. The main truth is that what you shied away from 19th centuries to 20th centuries that you have come back to implement in this 21st century. That is the same thing we, the people of Biafra, has agreed, and we have accepted what you accepted in this 21st century. In this 21st century, we are watching the world closely, and we are watching the world, watching UN, watching EU, and all of them, all this organization. Our eyes has opened. You told us that in this 21st century, that what you prefer, that what will give us, make us to have a seat in the UN is a peaceful declaration. And that's no more military controls. That is no longer when a country being having recognition, be a member of the UN because of the level of the bigger military and level of the war they've gone into before they can become a country. You said, we have moved away from that. You, UN, you, EU, you, AU, you, Commonwealth, all of you has moved away from that. And we understand that the only thing you accepted is a peaceful declaration, whether a government in exile or individual or democracy movement. And that is what the people of United State of Biafra went to Finland on November 29, 2024 to make a peaceful declaration. A peaceful declaration with government in exile is number one. You told us clearly that a peaceful declaration is what you prefer in this 21st century. And we, as the people of United States of Biafra, we have accepted this peaceful declaration as only way for us to achieve Biafra as our own country. So, in all, we are not relenting. We are moving very fast to let the world know that the truth, the law, is what we have embraced. We embrace this law in this 21st century to watch you, UN, to watch you, AU, to watch you, EU, and the Commonwealth. If you repeated or if you remember us the wound that never healed in our life through what's happened denying Biafra in 1967 to 1970. Those lies that British, UK, London, England told you about us. Now that we quickly adopted the 21st protocol of peaceful declaration as the only way for a country, we have done it and we are watching closely. We are keeping silent. We are taking it easily. We are counting. 1 year has gone. We want to see what you will do. We want to see countries in the world that we understand that the solution of what is happening in Nigeria is United States of Biafra as a country through the government in exile by the Govt and the peaceful self-referendum with over 70 million, and also the sit at home that we are doing. The peaceful sit at home, the volunteer sit at home that the people of Biafra has started been doing since 2003, since 2001 till 2026. We are using it to prove to the entire world that the people of Biafra has finally made up their mind that the over 70 to 80 million Biafrans agreed that what we want is exit outright of Nigeria. That is why on our self-referendum vote being conducted by the government in exile through the leadership of Mazi Simon Ebanjoko, the Prime Minister, and Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, the Chief of Staff, we make a very heavy, peaceful referendum vote that give us a result with over 50 million Biafrans. Out of these 50 million Biafrans, those in the homeland, their vote outline vote of those in diaspora, proving that those in the homeland want Biafra by all means. That is the areas we are going. Starting from, yes, Nelson, thank you so much, Nelson Mark. Starting from 2001, we have used our peaceful disobedient sit at home to show the world that this another referendum. The referendum being connected by Simon Ebanjoko, the Prime Minister, and Dr. Ngozi Arabeze is proving that the people of Biafra, we have moved on. That we are not waiting for any other person. Over 50 million. Now, calculated from 2001 to 2026 sit at home is another very poor self-referendum. So we have given evidence of two self-referendum, both through social media and the evidence on the homeland. we have proved too. That is why, after we have found out that we have met those criteria, now we are in the government in exile that make a declaration like what you said. Remember that you denied us Biafra in 1967 to 1970, but you give Namibia a country. You give Namibia their own. You allow them to become a country. You allowed Zimbabwe. You allowed Algeria, and you denied us. After you have denied Biafra as a country, over 12 countries through government in exile has emerged in Africa. Why deny our own? Why did you deny our own? Well, we are watching. Now we have a peaceful declaration from exile governments. You are the one who said that what we implement, that what you have implemented holistically in this 21st century is a peaceful declaration. A peaceful declaration. And you make it understand that the world take a peaceful declaration from the exile government more than a military regime. Now, not even that military is second or third option. That's the peaceful declaration with government in exile is more important in this 21st century more than military arm wing. That is why we're letting the world to know that we have met our own peaceful declaration. We are only seeking for what? Be a member of the UN or the international community recognition. That is only one thing that we are looking for. Yes, like I said, our program might not be too long this evening, so that's why we want to go direct to the 21st century laws from the UN charters. Is the area we are going this evening to back up USB RIA declared and why is only the best option we have. And you know how we do it here. Once we come here, we will first play it out to Biafrans. After playing it, then we will do analysis on it. Only on one session this night, very quickly and very fast. So follow us. For the first, I have to thank those in the comment section. I see you, Amadi Chigozie. I see you, Fresh Kid. I see you. Thank you so much. Fresh Kind. Thank you, Nelson Mark. I see you. Mweke. See you. Thank you so much. I see you. You are here. I see Ekwe. Ekwem Justina. Thank you so much, my brother. These are the first people that are here this wonderful evening. I greet you. I welcome you. Let us go. That is why we must continue in this aspect. I can't come here to talk about the Orama. Doesn't worth my time. I can't come here to discover Bam Bam Bam. These are internal affairs of the Biafran people. These are the internal affairs, not external affairs. I am treating external for the world to know that we have understand the things they are hiding from us. And that is why I told you that the only thing you can do is once you come, click the like button, share the program. If only those on our WhatsApp group, over 126 people, if they can be able to share this program, it will go very viral. People will hear it. If they can be able to share on S handle, share on Facebook, share on TikTok, share anywhere they want, the message will go viral. People will hear it. But I was struggling for a very long time. Where have you been? Now, the headline or the article of the UN Charter, Article 2 in bracket 4, is where I hold hand, do my research when I ask them, in this 21st century, based on the UN Charter articles, peaceful declaration from government in exile and the military commanders, which one is more important under international law in this 21st century? Look at what I researched. Under UN Charter based on 21st century laws between peaceful declaration from government in exile and the military commanders, which one is more important under international law? You can type it on the Google and find out by yourself. Now, I want you to listen to what the one that is more important. There is one thing about we, the people of Biafra, and that is the attitude of Nigeria. Many of us are still today proving the attitude of Nigeria. Ben, thank you so much. Look at our problem is that we always forgot a message and follow messenger. We always forget the message, follow messenger. But the question I want to ask you is this. Can you ask yourself, those who claim that they are taking instruction from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? My question to you is, when Nelson Mandela was arrested, the people outside, are they taking instruction from him? Are they the one giving them order? Ask yourself on a history of the freedom fighting. Ask when Mahatma of India was arrested, is he the one giving the Indian citizens order? What you are doing, what you are claiming you are in this movement, where has it happened before? What you are claiming military, this and in 21st century, the law has changed. And even at that 21st, even at 18th centuries, 20th centuries, what you are presenting, what you are doing today never happened before. When it happens in the conquest of the military, people like you are giving order, teaching order, instead of the government of Exile of those countries, or people of Namibia, people of Angola, people of Algeria, people name them in Africa, 1001, even South Africa. The military that tried to give order was being tagged rebel, insurgency, terror. That is what the world tagged them. Now, talking of this 21st century, that everything has changed. Like I said, the program we are doing, you can check it on Chrome. Just go there and type. In this 21st century, peaceful declaration from government in exile and the military commanders, which one is more important under UN Charter? Go and check. They'll give you the answer. That is the program we're doing this evening. You can also type it on the Google. It can give it to you. This is how people achieve their country. Our story can be a little different, but it cannot be different when it comes to the recognition of the international community. We must undergo that process that others. They must examine us the way they examine others. And the way they are going to examine us these days, the examination started from, are they military given in command? Or is it the government in exile that makes the question is giving order? That is where they started. This is how they are starting it in this 21st century. Everything, when Albert Obie said that a road to Biafra recognition, to fight for Biafra is in the open, you do not understand it. It's in the open based on there is existing histories. There is existing protocol that we have to undergo. There is existing template. We have to work on it, which is not our own. Because when you go to Roma, you must behave like a Roman. When you go to London, you behave like them. We must behave like those that we are looking for them to see us as in a country, and we must abide by their laws. When we were small, all we had in Onyosha mama ora me anya ego. Oma go ya kwọ m ụgwọ. Okwụsị m ụgwọ chima me ọzọ menyụọ ya anya. Let a white man slap me, but let him pay me. After paying me, let him open his mouth and talk jargon. I will use that money and call police and deal with him. That is where we are. The road to achieve Biafra is in the open. But that road to achieve Biafra is not what I think. It's not how I feel. I must remove how I feel to face the reality. I must remove how I feel in this movement. I must remove what I think. What I think is not what the world think. What I feel is not how the world feel. Their law, their emotion, there is no emotion in fighting for a new country. You must remove it. You must remove you know me. Don't know me, know the truth. Like I said, we move. Listen to this, my people.
In the 21st century, international law has undergone a major shift. While the 20th century prioritized effective control, whoever has the most soldiers, the modern era prioritizes legitimate governance. Between a peaceful government in exile and a military commander, or junta, international law now increasingly favors the former, provided they can prove they represent the legal and democratic will of the people. 1. Which is more important? The peaceful government in exile is more important for legal, de jure recognition. The military commander is more important for factual de facto recognition. In the 21st century, the world has realized that an army can occupy a city, but it cannot represent a nation's soul, its bank accounts, or its treaties. A government in exile that maintains a civil identity, issuing IDs, managing social programs, or holding a man as the holder of the state's sovereignty. The legal framework, what it says, UN Charter, Article 2.4, prohibits the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This means military commanders who take power by force are technically illegal under global law. The Tobar Doctrine, a modern legal standard stating that governments born from coups or revolutions should not be recognized until they are constitutionally confirmed. This protects peaceful exiles. Montevideo Convention, traditionally required effective control, but modern interpretations, since the 1990s, focus on the capacity to enter into relations. A government in exile with an ID system and diplomatic ties often has more capacity than an isolated military junta. Responsibility to protect, R2P. Sovereignty is no longer a right to rule, but a duty to protect. If a military commander harms the population, they lose their legal standing, even if they have the guns. 3. Why the peaceful declaration wins in the 21st century. The international community now uses inhibitory recognition against military leaders for several reasons. The banking barrier. To access a country's gold reserves or foreign bank accounts, like in the cases of Libya or Venezuela, you need legal title. Courts in London or New York look for a, quote, legitimate government, not just a military commander. The ID card factor. An ID card is a contract between a state and a citizen. If a government in exile can maintain that contract, issuing passports or documents recognized by others, they are performing the functions of a state without the violence. The cost of sanctions. Military commanders are easily sanctioned under the Global Magnitsky Act or UN resolutions. A peaceful government in exile, however, can receive international aid and legitimacy funding. Summary. If you are a military commander, you have the territory, but you are often a squatter in the eyes of the law. If you are a peaceful government in exile with a civil ID system, you have the sovereignty, but you are a guest. In the modern world, sovereignty, the ID law, is much harder to take away than territory, the land.
I hope you listened. The game has changed. And the when game change, the human being must change. There is one thing that is constant in this life. What is that one thing? That thing is change. The world are changing. The world are moving. Things are happening. Let me ask you, you that are rejecting a USB they are declared through government in Exile, it's not a changing. Are you still using Nokia Touch in your hand? Are you still using Nokia Touch? If you have moved away from using Nokia Touch and start using Screen Touch, Android Screen Touch, ask yourself a question. Every year, new things must come. New year, new implementation, new year, new changes, new year, a child grows, new year, increasing of years in our life. These are the truths. Government in exile, the only solution, they call it what? If you have been employing me past some days, when we discuss a peaceful declaration, they said a peaceful declaration is only easy way of soft way of having a new nation. I want you, for those who are championing men on ground, and you are also endangering that men on ground, because ignorance is not an excuse in the eyes of law. I don't know. I never knew. And that is why I'm here to give you this message so you can know in time. The world has shifted. They have moved away from military regime. Listen again. I will play it. I will pause it. We analyze it as we are going on. The only thing I ask you is to like and share the program. That is the only thing. I am not here to discuss Ade Oram in this my page. I am not here to discuss Eggman. I am not here to. The only people I can discuss somehow is if what I'm doing refers on Akbrawa and the Ogenkre and the layers. I will use all these UN charter and address them. But for me to put them here, for me to come, tag them, preach about them, I will not, because that is internal affair. Will not lead us to anywhere. That is internal affair that will not educate us more. I want something that will educate me to know, now that I have understand about US government. If you are my brother and you are in direct attack on US government, you are no longer my brother. I disown you. Because I have not, this is the only legitimate government I have that can take me home. No, it's no longer in the era of military powers. No. You can keep your military on the ground. When it's come to self-determination, when enemies enter the territory, they can defend themselves. Today, what JUNTA are doing are defending themselves against Udele and the Nigerian government is right. You see me, this is the truth. That is now when that self-defense is working, you on your own and they find you come. But for you to dish order as the most authority that are the one controlling the people, no, it's no longer in that era. And they said, when a military of an unorganized country continuously showing themselves in social media, that the world will use social media to tag them terror, tag them rebel, tag them spoiler, tag all kind of names. And I keep on asking, is it what JUNTA wants? What happened to the warlord of Angola? What happened to the warlord of Zimbabwe? It happened to you? A man who remained in the bush after declaration, he refused to come outside and see inside bush and giving order. What happened? UN and the US and the Angola government arrested him. Today, they sentenced him 50 years imprisonment. He still remains in the ICC prison till today. You see, this world is two-faced. And for you to stand on that two-face, you must keep your way straight. No matter what comes. Exile, thank you so much. Good evening, Nepu. I see you. I see James Chigozie. I see you. This is the only two people that on this platform today. I see your presence. Thanks so much for checking out on us and also being here. Thank you so much. Now, we move.
Would you like me to draft a comparison of how the UN currently treats a specific group, like the Myanmar Nuji versus the military junta, to see these laws in action?
These laws in action, Myanmar is they are using what? Exile government, Exile Ife. Ome Dada, thank you so much. Ome Dada, thank you so much. Oneku Madokebo, thank you so much. May your pocket never run dry. In fact, you know my meregi, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, so Mazishina, God bless you. Bless you too, my brother, because what we are doing, giving us water to drink, to soft our voice, is top notch in every platform. Right? You support this movement and support to Kwani independently. Your pocket will never run dry. You know, ebe ọ bụ na ndị mmadụ jiri ha enweta ego so far ọ bụ ihe ọma ka a na-eme ebe ahụ unu die ya ka ụnụ na sọpọtụ anyị unu ga-eji ya alụtụ Biafra niile a ga-akwụ onye ọbụla n'ime ụnụ ụgwọ n'ihe ọbụla ọ na-eme ọ ga na-eweta mmaji kwuru mmaji na Chukwu oke abịa ise we move. So on this movement that we are into, in this time around, this is 21st century. Thing has changed. This is 21st century. The world are no longer in the 18th centuries and 20th centuries. They have walked away. They have changed everything. They have transitioned to different options and come out with a better idea. They said, we have shifted away from military. Listen.
In the 21st century, international law has undergone a major shift. While the 20th century prioritized effective control, whoever has the most soldiers, the modern era prioritizes legitimate governance.
Yes. If you followed me yesterday, when I on the program yesterday, the same thing is what you're hearing again from the office of from the UN Charter. What did they say from the UN Charter? UN Charter said, in the 21st century, international law has undergone a major shift. Do you hear the word? International law has undergone a major shift. Why the 20th century patronize effective control? Whoever have the most soldier, whoever has soldier. You see what Gentle and the Butozo and all the people are claiming today? If it was in the 18th/20th century, they are on their right. That is the only way. The only way to achieve it in all these years is through military. That was in 20th centuries and 19th centuries. But I want you to know one thing. Chukwuemeka Odumegwu, what happened? Is it not military war? Do we succeed? The answer is no. I want to count one thing for you. Remember, in this movement, 3 men has stand out. If you put Simon Eba, 4 men. Who are these 4 men? Chukwuemeka Odumegwu fell. Owazurike fell. 2. Mazi Nnamdi Kalu not fell, but in the prison because of the USB we are declared. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kalu never fell. Simon Eba, Nwoke, he still remain under in the custody. True, the 4 men has fight this movement, and we have never achieved this Biafra. Why not let us support women? They can get it. And under the international law, it is very hard to arrest a woman who is fighting for a new country. I will give you an example. In Congo, a woman that declares Congo as a country, he was staying in exile in Belgium. When Belgium and Netherlands team up, wanted to arrest him because of British, what happened? They said, no, this is a woman. No, we are not going to be the one that we arrest him. Let us deport him. These 2 countries deported, he asked them, deport me in Africa country. They deport him in Ethiopia. He enters Ethiopia. He continued his movement of government in exile. And nobody arrested him until Congo becomes a country today. I want to know this very well. Look at today, a woman who is a president of Namibia was the same one who declared Namibia as a country. He was in exile. Nobody arrested him arrested her till today. It's very hard for the world to arrest a woman who is fighting for a new country. But it is easy to arrest a man who is fighting for a new country. But these 4 men I mentioned, they have tried, and we see where we are. Now that a woman has come, why can't we try women and see how they will handle us? Why can't we try them and see how these women will handle us? Is it not more important for us to allow them to go? What is happening here? I hope I'm still. Dear friends, I hope I'm still. Network never kick me out. I hope so. But I think I see some connection error. And I'll be talking. You know, the network has locked me out. I beg go. This network is not trustable. My people, can someone hear me? Can someone hear me? Because I was not shaking seriously. I was not shaking from the other gadget. If network will knock me out. Okay, thank you so much. There's a way. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Yes. So if you follow what I'm saying right now, 4 men has tried, and Biafra has never got recognition. Is it not good for us to allow women to try their own? Is it not important? And the most important part of it is that the women, with what you are hearing happen in Netherlands, happen in Iceland, happen in many countries today, don't you think that it is a right time that we need to allow women to try their own? Because some things, like in the history of a movement of a country, I have counted to you how many countries in my history book here that women declared. I don't waste time to see it. This is a logo. This is logo of countries that woman declares. You can see them here. I'll mention them. And after mentioning them, then I will ask you, do these countries that woman declared, are there countries today? Let me give you number 1 country. Number 1 country that a woman declared was Israel, 1822. Sorry, was Brazil, 1822. Brazil is not a country today. And this one that declares Brazil, did they arrested her? The answer is no. I have also talked about why the woman declares declares Brazil in 1822. 1822, September 2nd. Check it on the Google. You can see it there. Now, out of Israel was being declared 1848 on May 14 by a woman. What of Congo? 1960. Do you know that Ghana was also being declared by a woman in 900? A woman declares Ghana as a country. What of South Africa? I mean the apartheid regime that conquers and changes a history of South Africa is a woman. When Nelson Mandela was arrested, a woman followed their affair until they achieved their aim, their goal, and nobody arrested this woman, despite that she was in exile. What of Belarus? 2020 of yesterday, Belarus, a woman declares it. What of Madagascar? 1919, Madagascar, a woman. What of Namibia? 1962 to 1990, a woman. What of Sao Tome and Principe of yesterday? What of India? What of Algeria? India, the first declaration of India is like way Chukwuemeka Odumegwu declared Biafra in 1997. It later fell. Then after, Maghandi and his men declares it again. Now, what of Algeria? 1954 to 1962. These are the countries that woman declares. The question I'm asking in the comment section, all these countries, are they not country today? Are they not country today? All these countries, are their country? Do you know any of them? What of Ethiopia? What of Ethiopia? Are they not country today? Now, let us go into Africa. After Biafra has failed, how many countries emerged from Africa through a government in exile? Are they not country today? Look at it here. Look at this particular place. Look at where I'm putting my hand. The names and the years it happens is here. Now, listen to how many countries that was being declared in exile in Africa. My question is this: now that I have give you 12 countries a woman declares in this world that we are living right now. Between all these countries I mentioned here, are there countries today? I want you to know. Tell me in the comment section. Do you know about Brazil? Brazil, is it a country today? Brazil, is it a country today? Israel, is it a country today? Congo, is it a country today? Ghana, is it a country today? South Africa, is it a country today? Belarus, is it a country today? Madagascar, is it a country? Namibia, is it a country? Sao Tome and Principe, is it a country? India, is it a country? Algeria, is it a country? Tell me, these are countries. The same way our DPM, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, stood up on November 29, 2024 to make official peaceful declaration of the name United States of Biafra as our own country. These countries I mentioned, they are 12 in numbers. Tell me, I want Biafrans, is any of all these countries, are they country today? Woman who declares it, it comes to pass. They are existing country. They are what? They are existing country today. Now, what of those that in exile? What of those that use exile government to achieve their own? Now, I will just only go to Africa alone. In Africa, Ethiopia, government in exile, 1963 to 1941. A woman declares it through exile government. What of Algeria? Algeria, 1954 to 1962. Government in exile through a woman declares it. What of Angola? 1975 by a woman, exile government. What of Guinea-Bissau? A man declares it, not a woman, but it's in the exile government. Look at it here. This book is all about history of all the exile governments in this world. The 75 that have never got recognition is not among these. The 75 countries in the world, the 75 exile governments that are claiming, where USB fall on the 5th position as one of the most effective one. In that 75 of this exile government, USB is in the 5th position. Is in the 5th position. USB declared. They call it the 75, the most effective working 75. Go back to my previous video. I have proved it here. And they mention all the names of the exile government in the world, that they use exile government through declaration, and in that time, because of the word allow that before you become a sovereign nation, that you must go to war through military. But the thing that you must take home here is that this is what an exile government make this declaration. This is the most important area that I want to understand. When you are looking and listening to all kind of a thing, what comes into your mind? Now, in this 75 exile government, the world, UN and all their aspirants do screaming. They're screaming first 10. Out of the first 10, USB is in number 4 position, the 4th position. USB of yesterday is in the 4th position of one of the most effective digital exile governments. What else do you want Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala to do for you? And what else do you want her to do to prove that she's faithful, that she understands the movement? Except your envy, your hatred, because you want to make money. That is why your co-cos them are calling her names. Remember what I said here. You see what JUNTA are claiming today. You see what Butus of them are claiming today. These things they are claiming. If we still remain in the law of 20th centuries, Butus, JUNTA, they are the one, their action will trigger USB recognition. When these women declare their countries, their military on the ground was knocking woto. But the knocking woto, the world said, we have moved away from it. There is a changing. Let me give you one example of changes in Nigeria today. Nigeria has write a history book where they remove the history of Biafran people. People are going through that school, that kind of history book. Is not changes in Nigeria. Now, if your son or your daughter at school in Nigeria, you have to spend money to bought he or her this history book, that test history book in Nigeria. where a Yoruba man writes, where Nigeria have accepted that this is the one that's going to use starting from the first term that is coming so. It's not changing. It's only when it's come to this Biafra, nobody, you don't want to change. We will change you by force. You will hear this message by force. Because we hear Nandi Kano by force. We hear Sanba by force in our own midst. But when it's come to the world, we must prove peaceful country. Now, look at the Exile government in Africa. Ethiopia, Exile government. They fought from 1963 to 19. They fought from 1941 to 1963. Algeria, 1945, 1954 to 1962 to 1958. This is their journey with the Exile government. Angola, 1975 to up to 1980 something. Guinea-Bissau, 1973, their own happened so quickly, 1973 to 1970. Guinea-Bissau. What of Mozambique? 1967, fire on until they achieve their own. What of Namibia? I have told you, 1962 to 1990, Namibia. What of Zimbabwe? 1980 and fire down. What of etc.? 1993 to 1930. These are countries in Africa. They are a country today, but their declaration was meant in exile. Some of them, like I said, was being declared by a woman. The history is repeating. What is difference in that era to this era is everything must be under gun and bullet. Everything must be under military regime. But in this 21st century, they have shifted from it. Now that those people who authorized the exile government through a war has said, no, we don't want it anymore. We want this time around a peaceful declaration. We want a peaceful country, a peaceful exile government, not regime military again in this 21st century era. Why can't we accept it? Because of our stupidity. Because of what? Our ignorance. Because of our greediness. Because of we see everything as an avenue to make money. We see everything that, oh, we must remain in position. We want to become IPOB in this movement. Thunder fire you. They will remove you, and that person will take your position. Look at this Solomon Nkwacha today. With the so-called what is his name? Ezra Munobi. Look at people who bring us Biafra. Ezra Munobi. You bring us Biafra. You write to America. That letter you put on your platform was being wrote 2025 when this man would remain under USB. Under University of Biafra government in exile. Not now that you have moved away from. How dare you want to claim the achievement of USB? And this is the same quarter that Master sanctioned and remove him. But our DPM needed that experience to come in. He bring him because those who did not work for Batobia, some of them could have worked with when the same Ahurisi, Solomon and Kwacha and Rogo Batobia suspend the area. All the same Ahurisi and calling today, government suspend the queer. Agua say, baby question. Let the movement change because Nakaga has him military. Or this man will come back to Nigeria, wear Nigerian military uniform. Nigerian government give him military. That put security on that secure his life. Nkwacha come back from America, and he's claiming he's in USB government, and he comes back. Nigerian government give him military that guides him because they know him as a military in US also who is supporting Nigerian military. Is it not true, Nkwacha? Am I lying? But can I go to the best to go back to Nigeria today? Nigeria will try and go. Look at all of you. Today, Nkwocha and Jidofo and Ezamulobi has turned back to become Livingstone, Gaddafi, and Azokacha Sawankwo. You know what happened then? When Obatobi removes them in this movement, you know what happened. They formed their own cabal, think they can bring Obatobi down. But today, what are they? Today, where are those people? I will read a comment which I posted in my group, my WhatsApp group, about the letter Nkwocha sent to Nigerian government. Before we continue, sorry, I want to do it because we are proving why Exile government is the only option we have in this 21st century. For those on my WhatsApp group, I posted it there. There is a one who is active in the one who is active is an online shop that is always right jargon on that in there. Sorry, network is somehow bad, but we are here. So, like I said, you see this.
Sorry, network is somehow bad, but we are here.
You see the so-called Biafra is our region and Biafra is my home has become a page. The Ezamulobi, his head is swelling up. He wants to use Biafra is my home WhatsApp to give us Biafra. Onyamaha. My question is, can you just give us one example of exile government or a country in Africa that achieved their country with this reaction of you and Nkwocha? Just only one. That is my challenge. Give us one country in Africa that through exile government that what we are doing is how they achieve Biafra. Any of them that has been removed must come back to attack. When Gaddafi was removed, he attacked Simon Ebanjoko. When Azoka Charles Swankwo resigned, Biafra first. Where is Charles Swankwo to Biafra first? When Livingstone, about to be kicking Livingstone out with one Kelechi from Ghana, they tried, they paraded, they did not last because the truth is not there. Our people are not learning. But because they give you small money, because of Charles Solomon Nkwocha is giving Ezamulobi money. That is why you are hiding your shoulder with him. And you are fighting for Biafra. You, Ezamulobi, I am warning you. Because I am your brother. In this USB, we are declared. Kanga Waga on social media. Your video, your pictures, your name in Nigerian military will showcase everywhere. Continue this. Let this your page. Let this your YouTube page continue attacking USB. You think if it is saga, I will saga you. Because I will never allow you. Look at you. Look at you. Brother, please, for now, I don't put link for now because of that's how it is. My link is not ready. The only thing I do is number. I give my number to follow Biafrans. that if you wanna call me, time when I open for phone call, then I will allow you to use that number to call on WhatsApp and contribute. So if you want the number as we are going, I will call the number out, you will take. So if you have a contribution by that time, you can come in and make your contribution. We are looking at what the international laws want us to do in this 21st century. We are looking at how other countries in the world with their government and what their military did in their own time, how they achieved their own country, is what we are looking for. When it's time for the military regime, it is that era of military power has gone. The word said, we have shifted away. We have removed the criteria of military going through war with other states before you can become a country, but rather that we have adopted a peaceful declaration as the only legitimate way for you to achieve a new country, whether a government in exile or anywhere happens. Exile will be going to declare another Biafra. You and Nkwocha. You and Nkwocha, are you going to declare Biafra for us again? In this place you are hiding. Is it where you will stand and declare Biafra for us? So because of this little money that Solomon Nkwocha is giving to you, that is why you join. Like the way Madam Azoka was feeding Gaddafi, that is how he works with. What of Livingstone and his gang? Where are they today? Our people, I don't know why we have this syndrome of fear and forgot. We have syndrome of not remembering things that are happening. When you're moving away from this government, do you think you can win? You dare not. Because the truth must always win. And in the truth is where people stand. These are one of the most important things that we need to know at this stage that we are into. Before we close, I will give you I will read out, or if you go to my page, my WhatsApp group, you can read. I will be posting all those things that they are writing to the Nigerian government. That they should not mention Ngozi Arabeze, Solomon Nkwocha, and Jidofo. That they should not mention Ngozi Arabeze. That the only that they have is Mazen Nandekan Simon Epa. That they should never mention Ngozi Arabeze as the DPM or government in exile. That is how Nkwocha that are calling meeting in the zoo, people to join. With the stupid fraud name that is answering. After our declaration, no other government, no other existing structure that we achieve that is moving forward except USB we are declared the government in exile, leading by Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, whether I like it or not. This is how other countries did their own in the past. This is how other countries in the past did their own. I am not doing political correctness. I'll tell you the truth. If you are my brother, disown me, I disown you. I tell you the truth the way it is. Because the truth is always bitter. And I give out the bitter truth in my page. That is why what I have my page to give is bitter truth. That is what I have my page to do. Yes, Nkwocha is the one who traveled to Nigeria, write to Nigeria offices, that they should write to Nigeria media, that they should never mention Ngozi Arabeze as Deputy Prime Minister, that they should mention that Biafra has been declared. You think an Ebushi Onwaka, our declaration of born 180, Ade Wafimaka, Okwaru Ogi Oda, Okari Ogi Ocha, Uberi Ogi Ojie. Right now, ube eruole onye nwube ga-aghọrọ ubia ụmụ Biafra ube eruole ube ahụ ejiele erule mgbe anyị ga-aghọ ya. So in anywhere they are coming, we bombarding them with this international law. Tell us on the mandate of what you are fighting Ngozi Arabeze. But when Adadi Orama was saggering you, Ezamunobi and Nkwocha under USB, you was covered. But now you are out. If no take time, Ezamunobi and Nkwocha, Those things that you are doing in Nigeria, I think we don't. We know it very well. We have many evidence against you. But I have sent you a voice note as my brother. I have warned you. If any day I come across of your page, even though if you remove me, Biafrans will bring it to me. Where I am now is where Nabatobi said, if you hide anything against me, your son, your daughter will post it out. I will find all those things out. Shebi, that's what you sent to you. Said I should not show it to anybody. I said, are you not lying? When something you are giving to me as an evidence that those want to buy you, that he sends people to come and kill you, that you got the information, you have this, how much he paid. That is how there was also accused Nabatobi. So you are not the first, you're not going to be the last. But I have warned you as a brother. I've warned you. Let's continue, my people. In this 21st century, the action of military regime is no longer using to have a new country. What the world introduced to us is what I am giving to you. Which is that? They call it what? A peaceful declaration. They call it what? Peaceful declaration is the only way through a government in exile for you to achieve a new nation. There is no other way you can achieve a new nation without a peaceful declaration. And on that mandate of peaceful declaration is only US government, by the leadership of Gongozo Rabeze, is the one who has crossed that Rubicon, who maintained the mandate of peaceful declaration. There is no any other government. There is no any other thing in this world that has maintained this mandate. Only USB were declared. That is why, for me, when I find out through my research and everything that the only government I have is what? United States of Biafra government. Is the only government I have. There is no any other government. Next thing, it can never happen again. Nobody will allow declaration in any way again. Finland, Chukwuka Abiyama covers their brain and their eyes. They never knew that without Simon Eber, that this declaration will stand. Finland never knew that without Simon Eber, that this Biafra will be declared. If they knew, they will scatter it. Finland cried because of all their advice, all the words that was being given to them by the government is that if you remove Simon Eber, the declaration will scatter. They never know school come and prepare a woman, a mother, that will declare a motherland. Take it or you leave it. In this 21st century, international laws has undergone a major shift. Why the 20th century effective control is whoever has the most biggest soldier wins the war. Whoever have the most biggest soldier win the war. Also again, in the modern era of 21st century, the legitimacy governance, a peaceful declaration wins a new nation. A peaceful declaration in this 21st century wins is only easy software for you to have a new country. This is where we are in this 21st century. You see, open this YouTube, writing what I think, telling people we are going nowhere. Because what other countries pass through is when we know it, then we will focus on USB and believe that this government in exile right now is the only government we have. No other government. Simon can come out tomorrow, come and tell us he want to declare Biafra again. Where? How? He cannot. For Mazen to be out, it's like we must maintain the action of people of South Africa, people of Namibia, people of India, when their leaders was arrested, they all focused. Their fight to declare it and seek and get recognition is why Magahandi was outside. Is how Nelson Mandela comes out, become a president. Did you hear in that history that Magahandi comes out, that Nelson Mandela comes out and continue fighting for apartheid regime? He was inside. Once a leader who is fighting for a new movement arrested, his job has ended. He leave the work in you and I. He leave the job in the hands of those that are outside to finish up the job. So why we are fighting for us to have our new nation? He's remained in prison. He will be waiting as a president in waiting for the new nation to emerge. And for that nation to emerge is in our hand that is outside to declare it, to get recognition, to prove that the nation he's fighting for is already there. Then he will be out. Either he becomes a prime minister or he becomes a president. This is how it happens to all the countries in the world that has been fight for their freedom. The leader was arrested. The leader never comes out and continue. None of the leader comes out, continue the movement. They come out before they will come, everything has put in a place. They enter, become a president automatically. Our own will be different because of you a black man. Thunder Wabukweg, Solomon Nkwacha. Let's continue. Between a peaceful declaration government in exile and military commander or junta, international law now increasingly favor the formal peaceful declaration of government in exile can only be approved and respects the legal and the democracy will of the people. Peaceful declaration, democracy, not armed command, not armed struggle. Listen as I play something out.
Between a peaceful government in exile and a military commander, or junta, international law now increasingly favors the former, provided they can prove they represent the legal and democratic will of the people.
That is what USB declared is presenting, proving that they are the government. Now, there is things under the UN Charter, Article 2 in bracket 4, we are going to emphasize on it. Once we emphasize on that, you will hear what USB is doing as government in exile from the UN. Tell me why they don't recognize us. Why we are meeting those criteria they have set out, those protocol they have put there, those templates that have Biafra as our own nation, they have put there for us. Now that the things that we are doing is into their constitution, you will tell me why they don't recognize us. You come and tell me. Let's continue.
1. Which is more important? The peaceful government in exile is more important for legal, de jure recognition. The military commander is more important for factual de facto recognition.
There is something I want to take home from here. Which one is more important between military and the exile government? A peaceful declaration. Look at the question they ask here. In this 21st century, between military, armed wing, and the government in exile, which one is more important? Now listen. A peaceful declaration government in exile is more important than a military junta. A peaceful declaration government in exile is more important for a legal de jure recognition than a military commanders. This is 21st century law. This is where the world has moved. A new day, a new changing. A new day, a new changing. Now that the world has moved, if you come to the wing, the weight of military, do we have it enough to again first Nigeria as a country that has some kind of thing that we'll never have? That is why this peaceful way is the best option for us. Tell me, between hard and soft, which one do you choose? I choose soft. I know that every Biafran who is on comment section and those who believe in USB stand on the side of what? Soft. The only soft way for us to achieve Biafra in this 21st century is to stand on the mandate of our peaceful declaration through the government in exile. No more longer military power, no more showing guns. No more showing ammunition in social media. Dancing and whining is the only way. The world has rejected that. The world has rejected using military to fight for a new country. They said no. Let's continue.
The 21st century, the world has realized that an army can occupy a city, but it cannot represent a nation's soul, its bank accounts, or its treaties. A government in exile that maintains a civil identity, issuing IDs, managing social programs, or holding a mandate, is viewed as the holder of the state's sovereignty, even if it doesn't hold the land.
I hope you are listening. In 21st century, the whole world has realized, not only UN, America, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, all they said here what? In 21st century laws, from the UN and AU and EU, the whole world has realized that arms, that realize that arm cannot occupy city, but it cannot release a nation's soul. They have realized it. That is why they said we have shifted away from who has the biggest gun in the house as the one who holding the power, but we shifted to the one who stand on the legal, who hold the authority, which is USB really declared. In the bank account or in the treaties, to sign treaties, can a military sign treaties in this 21st century? Can Ubutos and then to sign treaties with the US, sign with America, sign with Israel, sign with every countries in the world, even in Africa? Can they sign treaties? If you cannot sign treaties, you are not welcomed. Let's continue. A government in exile that maintain a civil ID card, a civil identity, issue ID card, managing social programs, holding on a mandate, is viewed as the holder of the state sovereignty. It's no longer military. It's no longer what? Military. But it is what? A government in exile. Remark this place. A government in exile that maintain a civilian identity, issue ID card, manage social programs, or holding a mandate is viewed as the holder of a state sovereignty, not a military anymore. This is 21st century law from the UN, from the EU, from the AU, from Commonwealth, from America, from Israel. You that are calling Donald Trump, you that are calling Netanyahu, you that are calling leaders of thought, leaders of conscience. The leaders of conscience have changed. They have moved away from you carrying gun, proving that we are fighting for freedom of a new country. They said, we have moved away from that. Why can't you follow the leaders of thought, the leaders of conscience, Donald Trump, Netanyahu? They have moved out from military regime time. Why can't you follow them to move? The only way you can follow the government in exile. And that's what the one that serves you. They call it a very soft way of achieving international recognition. This is what they call a soft way. Why are you continuing wasting your time? Why? Why you don't want to change? Why you want to remain under military that the world says no to this? And you are calling Donald Trump, you are calling Netanyahu, you are calling all these names, and why those names have changed their movement? That they are no longer in the era of gun and bullets. They are no longer in the era of only way you can have a country is by through military regime. The answer is no. The world has worked out. Why can't you move out? Why can't you join them? Why can't you join the moving trend? Why can't you accept the changes that the world has making? Even the world made that changes for betterment of you who carry arm in the homeland. You heard this here clearly. A government in exile that's maintaining civilian identity, issue ID card, managing social programs, Is it not what USB is doing today? If you are a liberate army, under which government? Thank you, Nelson. If the Biafran military are not showcasing social media, that is true. Only military we have is the military that are under USB, taking instruction, go, don't go, stop. That is why they call soldier zombie in Africa. They say zombie no go move unless you tell them to move. Who is telling zombie to move? The government. Not you inside bush. The world has moved away from that particular level that you're operating from. Hear me clear. You can find these things I'm doing here on your phone if you can get time to research for long and get the right answer. Then you will find this out. In Biafra movement, the government of the USB is not the only one who is issuing ID card. It's part of what? The law of this 21st century of having a new country. It's part of it. That is why it's important for you to know what you are doing and the government you have, their work and all they are doing for the Biafran people. That is why for me, every day, I pray for our DP on Zongozo Arabeze.
2. Which law applies? The legal framework. What it says, UN Charter, Article 2.4, prohibits the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This means military commanders who take power by force are technically illegal under global law.
I hope you are listening. The legal framework, what says, the legal framework, the legal aspect of what we are doing, what the legal aspect of it says in this 21st century, UN Charter Article 2 in bracket 4 is where we hold our program this night. It says, prohibit the use of force against territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This means military commanders who take power by force are technically illegal under global law. With this thing that we are doing inside bush, that thing that we are claiming, dancing there, calling Donald Trump, calling Netanyahu, they said what? You are under illegal global law. Not only the law of Nigeria, the military this means military commanders who take power by force are technically illegal under global law, not under USB law, under the global law. The global law is including the law of Netanyahu, including the law of Donald Trump, included the law of the leaders of thought and leaders of conscience. These are the laws that controls all of them. They prohibit us in this 21st century to use force in the way that we are into. The peaceful declaration, the diplomatic and the political pressure is only way to achieve international recognition, no other way, which is the main key of it is what? Our peaceful declaration. And this is that we are into. Even Nigerian military that has no right to occupy our land. They are all illegal occupying a foreign country. This is how the UN, this is how they are observing it this time around.
Tobar Doctrine, a modern legal standard stating that governments born from coups or revolutions should not be recognized until they are constitutionally confirmed. This protects peaceful exiles.
Are you hearing it? Only a modern law, that is where the world stand right now. The modern law simply means you don't come and give, military has no power to be showing gun on social media. They have no power to be dancing and proving that they have weapons. No. They don't have to issue order and tell us that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said, stop it at home. No. They don't have that kind of right. They don't have right to come and tell Biafrans how we will work and how we will achieve our country. No. What they remain is to take instruction from the government of the USB. Now, when Nigerian government comes, why do we need to have the military? Yes. Now, like you see what I'm giving you the way it is. Now that Udele is in Biafra and to try to attack JUNTA, on the issue of self-determination, JUNTA have right to attack back. That is why if JUNTA is under USB, the USB is the appropriate authority to champion what is going on in Nigeria, and the world will mark it and mark it somewhere. Doing a good thing on a wrong time. Because the world has changed everything. Why is our people refusing to change? Is always my question. Because of the money you are collecting. Because you see that only claim that you are fighting for Biafra through arm struggle is the only way you can make your money. And now that something that has ended up you making that money has come, turn against it. You on your own, no. Because I am not here to make money. I am not here. I am here for me to have Biafra as my own country. Triple M, good evening from here. I see you. Thank you so much. I see you. Now, which law are they using in the 21st century between the UN and Montevideo Convention? Hear me out.
Montevideo Convention traditionally required effective control, but modern interpretations, since the 1990s, focus on the capacity to enter into relations. A government in exile with an ID system and diplomatic ties often has more capacity than an isolated military junta.
Are you hearing it? A government in exile with an ID card system. A government in exile with an ID card system and diplomatic ties often has more capacity than an isolated military junta. You see, when I begin to ask them, what is the meaning of isolated military? The way JUNTA are inside bush. That they call them what? Isolated military. Military cannot come out on the road. The only time that if USB decide to leash the military on the road, what will save all the military is that because of this our declaration, those if tomorrow USB decide to leash military on the road, they have the right. But on the mandate of peaceful declaration, they will not until we achieve our recognition. So they should not tag the country that a new country is sponsoring violence in the atmosphere of the world. That is why it's important that USB, the way the military lie, let them lie low. But if Nigerian government comes in our territory, then we will defend ourselves. That is why you need to have the military, not to come and show, not to come and give instruction. The time of you has gone. It ended in 20th century.
Responsibility to protect, R2P. Sovereignty is no longer a right to rule, but a duty to protect. If a military commander harms the population, they lose their legal standing, even if they have the guns. 3. What?
Do you hear it? When they refuse to obey order from government in exile and use their gun to harm the citizens or refuse to take order from government in exile, they now become the one to issue order. They lose their what? They lose their moral legal standing in the eyes of the international community and international community laws. That is where it happens. That is why we need to change the method of Biafra we are looking for. The Biafra we are looking for, narrating what we want cannot. Those things are internal matters that even after our recognition, we can do what? Teach ourselves how to live in Biafra land. That is true.
The peaceful declaration wins in the 21st century. The international community now uses inhibitory recognition against military leaders for several reasons.
Are you hearing it? Number 3. Prohibited to protect. Sovereignty is no longer a right to rule, but it is a duty to protect. If military commanders harms the population, they lose their legal standing, even if they have the guns. Are you hearing it? Now, let's go to number 3. Why the peaceful declaration wins in this 21st century? Why a peaceful declaration by a government in exile win military anything in this 21st century? Listen.
The banking barrier. To access a country's gold.
In the international community, now using inhabitarial recognition against military leaders for several reasons. The world is using what? peaceful declaration unto recognition of a new country, that they will not recognize a leaders of a military commanders who are claiming they are fighting after a peaceful declaration. Now, the banking barrier to access countries' goods reserve or banking or foreign banks account, like the case of the Libya or Venezuela, you need legal title. Courts in London, the New York look for illegitimate government, not just a military commander. The world looks for a government, human being with signature. Not they said the UN, EU are not going to look for a military commander. So if you like, we'll call Donald Trump tomorrow, we'll call Netanyahu next year, they are not coming. They can only answer our DPM, which is the government in exile. A signatory. A signature is what wins this time around after a peaceful declaration.
Reserves or foreign bank accounts, like in the cases of Libya or Venezuela, you need legal title. Courts in London or New York look for a, quote, legitimate government, not just a military commander. The ID card factor. An ID card is a contract between a state and a citizen. If a government in exile can maintain that contract, issuing passports or documents recognized by others, they are performing the functions of a state without the violence.
I hope you are listening. Tell me, is it not what USB is doing you are hearing here from the UN Charter, Article 2 in bracket 4? What makes that UN Charter very effective is what? The ID card factor. An ID card is a contract between a state and citizens. If a government in exile can maintain that contract, issuing passport, ID card, or document recognizing by others, they are performing the function of a state without the violence. We are performing what? A state without violence. Only government in exile. Through a government in exile, issuing ID card today, if you are not taking USB ID card, you are not a USB person, because you are not supporting USB until you have this ID card. That is when you can fully claim, I am a citizen of United States of Biafra, my people. There is no two way, only one way. That is my happiness. There is no two ways about it. Only one way is only way it can happen. And that only one way is what we are hearing from this article of the UN Charter. Article 2 in bracket 4. Look at it here in front of us. It's not about Ngozi Arabeze. It's about the reasoning. It's about the view, the understanding of the international community. It's all about the view, their understanding. Can't you see that their understanding is very far from what we are thinking? Can't you see that? That their reasoning is very far from what we are reasoning. Can't you see that their movement is very far from what we are doing? Can't you see that their level of understanding is not, that their criteria is different from us? Tell me, are we discussing such a thing in social media? You want me to have my time to say in my page? It can never happen. It can never, because she don't know her left from her right. One has confused her. So such people, what they are doing, when I know on the orders that UN are not looking at those kind of people. Look at what UN are looking, that USB have to be issuing ID card and passport. Are you taking the ID card? Are you taking USB ID card? If you don't have the USB ID card link, contact me on number plus 9733605137. I will give you the number. I repeat again. Plus 9733605137. Once you contact me on WhatsApp and ask me about this particular ID card link, I will give it to you. These are what a government in exile should be doing. What happened? They said the government, the ID card factor. An ID card is a contract between a state and citizens. If a government in exile can maintain that contract, issuing passport or documents, organizing by others, they are performing the function of existing, the functioning of a state without violence. That's what they call a peaceful movement of a new nation. That is where we are. Take it or you leave it.
The cost of sanctions. Military commanders are easily sanctioned under the Global Magnitsky Act or UN resolutions. A peaceful government in exile, however, can receive international aid and legitimacy funding.
I hope you're listening. The cost of sanctions. Military commanders are easy to sanctions under the global management act of UN resolution. A peaceful government in exile, however, can receive international aid and legitimate funding. Only in USB, the government in exile that make a peaceful declaration. Those that are not with us are those who want money. Those that have collected money from Nigeria government. Now, Nelson, with what you are hearing, USB is not on track. USB, are they not doing the right thing to do? With what you are hearing from the UN Charter, Article 2 in bracket 4 of about having a new nation through a government in exile, if they may ask you, what is your answer? My answer is that they have overmade those criteria and they are doing 100% right for us to have our new nation. They mention a diplomatic movement from government in exile. And that is the only one that the world we give fund. That is the only one that the world will give fund for them to defend themselves. Let's continue.
Summary. If you are a military commander, you have the territory, but you are often a squatter in the eyes of the law. If you are a peaceful government in exile with a civil ID system, you have the sovereignty, but you are a guest. In the modern world, sovereignty, the ID law, is much harder to take away than territory, the land. Would you like me to drop?
Now, in summary, if you are a military commander, you have territory, but you are often seen as a spotter. You know, when two people are living in a house, one person have the house, the other person is spotting with you. That is how the world will see you as a military commander in this 21st century. Let us continue. If you are a peaceful declaration government in exile with civilians ID card system, you have the sovereignty, but you are a guest because of seeking for recognition. I hope you are listening. These are the bitter truths they will not tell you. In the modern world, sovereignty, the ID card law is more harder to take away than a territory in the land. Only having our ID card, we proving to the world that we also have territory and the USB is in charge. My people, we must stand on the truth. We must understand that this game that we are into, we are on the offline, where we want to clear up all the mess, get recognition. Let all the military lie low. Let them only defend their territory. Stop showing yourself social media. Stop showing woto. Stop videoing and showing because the world are watching. It's what will trigger the world to tag you names that you will not like. Spoiler. Insurgency. Rebel. If that's what you wish yourself, I don't wish you that. That is why I'm here to call you out, to come out from that you are doing, that the world are no longer in that era. The world has moved away in that particular line that you are towing today. The world says hey no to that. We must understand, we must follow the template of the world for us to achieve Biafra as our country. Right now, the Arama cannot do anything to us. We can use it to educate ourselves because you have already known that anything comes from Arama is a pure lie. You're supposed to know that if anything comes out from Arama, that is a pure lie. Do not, I did not tell you.
The comparison of how the UN currently treats a specific group, like the Myanmar Nuji versus the military junta, to see these laws in action?
Yes, we will play it without saying a word so you can hear it clearly and think about it. Also remember our own narration this evening. What we are discussing is, in this 21st century law under the UN Article 2 in bracket 4, between a government in exile peaceful declaration and the military, which one are more important, more superior? Government in exile, peaceful declaration is number one that gives you a nation in this 21st century, no longer military commanders. The world has shifted. Listen how they shift.
In the 21st century, international law has undergone a major shift. While the 20th century prioritized effective control, whoever has the most soldiers, the modern era prioritizes legitimate governance. Between a peaceful government in exile and a military commander or junta, international law now increasingly favors the former, provided they can prove they represent the legal and democratic will of the people. 1. Which is more important? The peaceful government in exile is more important for legal, de jure recognition. The military commander is more important for factual de facto recognition. In the 21st century, the world has realized that an army can occupy a city, but it cannot represent a nation's soul, its bank accounts, or its treaties. A government in exile that maintains a civil identity, issuing IDs, managing social programs, or holding a mandate, is viewed as the holder of the state's sovereignty, even if it doesn't hold the land. 2. Which law applies? The legal framework. What it says, UN Charter, Article 2.4, prohibits the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This means military commanders who take power by force are technically illegal under global law. The Tobar Doctrine, a modern legal standard stating that governments born from coups or revolutions should not be recognized until they are constitutionally confirmed. This protects peaceful exiles. Montevideo Convention traditionally required effective control, but modern interpretations, since the 1990s, focus on the capacity to enter into relations. A government in exile with an ID system and diplomatic ties often has more capacity than an isolated military junta. Responsibility to protect, R2P. Sovereignty is no longer a right to rule, but a duty to protect. If a military commander harms the population, they lose their legal standing, even if they have the guns. 3. Why the peaceful declaration wins in the 21st century. The international community now uses inhibitory recognition against military leaders for several reasons. The banking barrier. To access a country's gold reserves or foreign bank accounts, like in the cases of Libya or Venezuela, you need legal title. Courts in London or New York look for a, quote, legitimate government, not just a military commander. The ID card factor. An ID card is a contract between a state and a citizen. If a government in exile can maintain that contract, issuing passports or documents recognized by others, they are performing the functions of a state without the violence. The cost of sanctions. Military commanders are easily sanctioned under the Global Magnitsky Act or UN resolutions. A peaceful government in exile, however, can receive international aid and legitimacy funding. Summary. If you are a military commander, you have the territory, but you are often a squatter in the eyes of the law. If you are a peaceful government in exile with a civil ID system, you have the sovereignty, but you are a guest. In the modern world, sovereignty, the ID law, is much harder to take away than territory, the land. Would you like me to draft a comparison of how the UN currently treats a specific group, like the Myanmar Nuji versus the military junta, to see these laws in action?
I hope you are listening. This is what the world wants us to do. And this is what the world is doing in this 21st century. That's why I said, we leave our sides open, be watching UN and all their treaties and all their charters, which our governments are maintaining them. Today, which government is issuing ID card and passport? It's not only USV we are declared. These are things you will be doing to prove that you are a sovereign state in waiting. In the eyes of the international global community. Let's continue without wasting time. Mommy Flora, thank you so much. I see you. Good evening from here.
In the 21st century, international law has shifted its focus from who has the biggest gun to who has the right to rule. While the 19th and early 20th centuries were dominated by the effective control doctrine, whoever physically holds the capital is the government, the modern era prioritizes effective governance and democratic legitimacy. Here is why international law now favors an organized peaceful government over mere military force. 1. The Stimson Doctrine and the ban on force. Modern international law is built on the principle that sovereignty cannot be gained through aggression. The rule, under the Montevideo Convention and the UN Charter, territorial status gained through illegal military force is not supposed to be recognized. The result, If a government in exile can prove it represents the will of the people through ID systems, civil administration, and elections, while the group in power only has military control, the international community is legally obligated to lean toward the peaceful administration. 2. Responsibility to protect R2P. In the 21st century, sovereignty is no longer seen as a right to own land, but as a responsibility to protect people. The shift. If a military force controls a territory but uses that power to commit atrocities or fails to provide basic services, healthcare, food, legal identity, they lose their legitimacy. Effective governance. A government in exile that manages a civil ID system, provides education, or coordinates aid demonstrates it can fulfill the responsibilities of a state even if it currently lacks the physical territory. 3. Economic and legal interoperability. In a globalized world, a country is more than just a piece of land. It is a node in a global network of banks, airlines, and trade. Why ID matters more than tanks. A military can hold a city, but it cannot sign a trade deal if no one accepts its paperwork. If an exiled government's ID cards and passports are the ones recognized by international banks and border agencies, that government remains effective in the global economy, while the military force remains isolated. 4. Human rights as a foundation. Modern recognition, like in the cases of Libya in 2011 or Venezuela in 2019, often follows the Tobar Doctrine, or the democratic legitimacy test. Governments that take power by force, coups/military juntas, are increasingly denied recognition. Governments that maintain a civilian structure, even in exile, are preferred because they represent a return to the rule of law rather than the rule of the gun. Summary table. 20th versus 21st century recognition. Feature. 20th century, realpolitik. 21st century, legalism. Primary goal. Who has the army in the capital? Who is the legitimate representative? Core value.
Hey, sorry. Don't know, my hand touched it.
Physical control. Human rights and democracy. Key document. Army manifestos. National ID and civil registry. UN stance. Recognition of whoever wins. Non-recognition of force-based gains. Note, this doesn't mean the military is useless. In a perfect world, you need effective governance to be recognized, and security military to protect that recognition. One gives you the right to exist, the other gives you the ability to stay. Would you like me to analyze a specific recent case, such as the National Unity Government, NUG of Myanmar, or the Venezuelan opposition, to see how they used ID systems to fight for recognition?
Have you had it? That people use only ID card to fight for recognition, and they got it. Libya, Venezuela, these are countries. That is why I ask you, the Biafra you are championing, that group you are, what you are doing, in which country has it happened? In which country has what you are claiming and what we are doing, where has it happened? You answer BGC. Where in the world, in this that you are doing, is how people get their freedom? The only government that are on the right track of that freedom is only United States of Biafra we are declared. As I'm going, please, because we are going to shut down some more time, if Biafras want to call, you are free to call me on number +97 336051 That is the number you can reach me out if you want to contribute on this program. Please, if you may, that is only place you can call for now. Until when we're ready to put our link, then we will do that. Also, network problems here and there. So, my people, when you are listening to the UN Charter and all the article, if you ask you, are we not in favor? The law. It's not true that the law is favoring at this 21st century. Are we not the one that this law of the UN is favoring? That we should drop arms struggle. We should embrace a peaceful declaration. Now that they ask us to embrace peaceful declaration, and we have done that, and you had it here, countries in the past have used common ID card. That's what you call common. That's why UN said that if over 10,000 Biafrans can have this ID card, they are a country. Nobody needs to argue about anything about them. What they will do is to have a seat in the UN as the member. I want to understand, if you are in diaspora, if you're in abroad, like we said, that is why you must take the ID card. Did you see how ID card come into Article 4, Chapter 2, in bracket 4 of the UN Charter? ID card, proving a government in waiting, proving the government is in control of their people. That is why you have to obey the government is giving out to you. We start afresh. Listen to this again. If you want to call, you are free to call us.
In the 21st century, international law has shifted its focus from who has the biggest gun to who has the right to rule.
Are you hearing it? In the 21st century, international law has shifted its force from who has the biggest gun to who has the right to rule. They are no longer in the who has the biggest gun as you are the one to rule. No, they are no longer there. That's what I said. They have shifted away from that. They have shifted, oh, men on ground, oh, bulldozer, oh, gentle, you who wear the shoes, nowhere impeaches you. Is it how international law judges people? Oh, you never knew that some commanders in Africa, Angola, Liberia, they are in prison for over 70 years in ICC. Because of after declaration, they refuse to surrender. They continue ditching order. They continue trying to control the civil the civil declaration of their own people. Democracy rule in 21st century. This happened in 2090s, in the 19th centuries. In 19th centuries, things happen. Even when the world accepted military, when the country make declaration and they recognize them, if the military refuse to surrender, they pick all of them up. Is it what you wish yourself? The world has shifted from who has the biggest gun. The world are no longer using gun again. They use human being. They use peaceful declaration, agreements in exile. Signature is what they use, not gun and bullet anymore. Because they say that God has never given peace to the world. Rather, God will give instability. And they will not uphold or stand anyone who want to use gun to continue causing insurgency in the world. That's what they said, that they will tag such military insurgency, rebel, spoiler, terror of their own people. Is it what you want? Why you have USB that you will be under USB, you will be protected so much. You had it here that USB we are declared through government in exile is more important than having military. What are you still waiting for? When are you going to change? When are you going to change? Change! In this 21st century, international law had shifted its force from who has the biggest gun to who has the right to rule. Why the 19th and the earlier 20th centuries were dominated by effective control of doctrine of weapon, who has a physical weapon hold the capital in the government. This is the law in the 21st century. It must be by gun and bullet. It must be by liberation military. But in 21st century, what happens? What happens in 21st century? The modern era of 21st century has taken over effective governance and democracy legitimacy through a peaceful declaration by a government in exile. Here is why international law now favor an organized, peaceful declaration government over male military force. The world has favored. The world favors Otongozo Arabeze. Your envy and your jealousness cannot stop it. The world favors Dr. Ngozi Arabeze based on the aspect of a peaceful declaration by a government in exile. As of that, you cannot have a territory anymore through by force. The UN Article 2 in bracket 4, UN Charter Article 2 in bracket 4, I quote, said that they prohibit any of us to use force to achieve Biafra as a country. That the only soft way, the easiest way we have is peaceful declaration through a government in exile.
While the 19th and early 20th centuries were dominated by the effective control doctrine, whoever physically holds the capital is the government, the modern era prioritizes effective governance and democratic legitimacy. Here is why international law now favors an organized peaceful government over mere military force. 1. The Stimson Doctrine and the ban on force. Modern international law is built on the principle that sovereignty cannot be gained through aggression. The rule.
Are you hearing it? Modern international law is based on the principle that sovereignty cannot be granted through aggression, anger, fighting, woto. The world has moved away from woto. They only believe in peaceful declaration, diplomatic movement, political pressure. That is where they believe on it right now. Believe they change for once. That the world are no longer using Nokia touch. They are using screen touch today.
Under the Montevideo Convention and the UN Charter, territorial status gained through illegal military force is not supposed to be recognized. The result.
I hope you're listening. The 21st century rule under Montevideo Convention and the UN Charter, territory or a status granted through illegal military force is not supposed to be recognized in this 21st century. Are you hearing it? This is not Govt talking. This is not USB talking, but this is the law that USB must. This is the law that USB has already grabbed. This is the law that USB has already implemented. We accepted the law. That is why nobody will arrest Govt because she is under peaceful declaration as a government in exile. Madam Ngozi, thank you so much. All in one God, I can see you. Thank you for coming. Good evening from my location. Good evening from here. The world has moved away. The rule of the Montevideo Convention and the UN Charter, territory or status granted through a illegal military force is not supposed to be recognized in this 21st century. I am good. You are welcome. Thank you so much. And you are showing force in social media. And you are showing it's coming from the office of the Triple General Botozo. The world can never recognize you. The world cannot. No military arm wing that showcase social media that world will recognize. They will tag you terror, run. They will tag you rebel, run. They will tag you insurgency, run. They will tag you spoiler, run, and they arrest you. They arrested Angola. It happens in Angola. It happens in Liberia. They arrested their military that refused a peaceful declaration to hand over to civilian citizens. They arrested them, sentenced them to 70 years imprisonment in ICC. That is when they believe under military. That is when they believe under military. What of friend they did not believe? And you are calling Netanyahu, Donald Trump, leaders of conscience, leaders of thought. The leaders of thought and leaders of conscience, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, they have moved away from armed struggle. They don't want anybody to use gun again. They want you to just on the line of self-determination. Now that, let me tell you an example of what I'm saying. Now that Ijele brought Nigerian military in our land, gentle, Butuzo, you have right to buy them. You have right to attack them. That is what is called self-determination. But you to come to give order as you are in charge, like they are providing you, it's a pure lie. And the word said, if any military showcase their free social media with arm, that they will attack the terror. What are you still waiting for? This is where the world is. This is 21st century era. Changes. I'm asking you one question. Are you still riding bicycle in the village? Are you still using Nokia Touch today? Are you can landline and a call? The changes are constant in life. The changes are constant in life. Edith, thank you so much. Oma, Ariza, thank you so much. I see you. You're welcome. Please just help me hit the like button. Share the program if you think what we are doing, what merits you to share on your Facebook, on your S handle, or anywhere you can. We want our people to know this truth. What we are going to, I told you, if you want to hear that Orama, you know where to go. If you want to hear about Eggman, you know where to go. If you want to hear about those levels, you know where. But here, our mandate is to stand on existing protocol of 21st century between Militray and peaceful declaration government in exile, what the world will think about them, and if this government in exile can ever help us to recognize Biafra as a country. And they said a peaceful declaration by a government in exile is only way to have a new nation that leads to soft international recognition. They also told us here that we must have an ID card. When the government in exile issue an ID card, it's a physical evidence that people agree people agree that they want a new country. Have you applied for your ID card? Have you applied for your ID card when you're in diaspora? What is holding you? Call me on this number. I'll give you the link. It's just $100. Every country pay for their passport. This country where as I come in, I paid for the ID card. The ID card, it cost me more than 250,000 to go to Nigeria if I were able to get it. So go and pay $100. Take this ID card. This ID card also, if you are in abroad today, you don't have paper, take Biafra ID card. Nobody will deport you to Nigeria anymore. Rather, the ID card gives you automatic asylum. You don't know? You don't know that? Say now, they're there. They look like Obonu. They're there, they argue. Biafra USB ID card is automatic asylum to you. Nobody will deport you again. Stay. Be wasting your time. What is the result under the UN? Listen.
If a government in exile can prove it represents the will of the people through ID systems, civil administration, and elections, while the group in power only has military control, the international community is legally obligated to lean toward the peaceful administration.
I hope you are listening. I hope you are listening to this like the way I am listening. The only thing I refuse to know other things only me. That is why I am here to give it to you also. For us to share our common thought on it. The result, if a government in exile can prove representative the will of the people through issue ID card system, through issue or through giving the citizens ID card of USB we are declared. Civil administration and elections, why the group see on this civil administration and elections, USB rush and conduct election in Old Anambra. You do not understand what happened there. Now, can you understand? The US has issued ID card. UN is criteria of recognition. Do you also know that in this world there is countries only ID card that the citizens take granted them automatic recognition? They have a seat in the UN. Do you know that? It happens in this world that we are living. If you doubt it, tomorrow I give it to you. I give you in the 2 countries or 3 or 4 or 5, only citizens taking ID card, grant them automatic recognition. Help this government and help yourself, because heaven only help those who help themselves. God will help those that help themselves. Help yourself by taking this ID card. Let's continue. Why the group in power only has military control? The international community is legally obligated to lean towards the peaceful administration government in exile that make a peaceful declaration. That is what it is. That is why I told you, some things we are giving our time to narrate and explain doesn't worth it in this 21st century era. What we are doing is these things for us to know our rights, for us to know things that will block us from having international recognition, for us to know the criteria, for us to know where is this world that is moving. Did you have your own personal law in this life? It's not the law of all the continent and your country where you reside is what you use. This country where I am on January implemented a new law that if anybody, if you are trying to tag my number on my YouTube page, that I will go to prison for 6 months, which is 3 years, and they might decide to deport me. That is why I can only call it on. They said code number on the mouth. Anybody who understand. Anybody who did not understand it will pass. That is why we don't put number on the comment section. You must. The law are changing every day. It's only in Biafra that people are not changing it because we love a messenger, hate a message. We appreciate a messenger. We don't appreciate the message, but you refuse that message is more important than a messenger. Look at messenger here look at message from here from UN. UN is a messenger. The law is message. Take the message. Okongozo Rabeze is a messenger. Take the message of peaceful declaration for us to go home. Look at what Udo is doing in Biafra land. Look at what Udo is doing. Look at what all these legitimate governors are doing. The only thing that will stop Islamization is this our peaceful declaration through government in Exile, leading by Okongozo Rabeze, whether they like it or not. Only through peaceful declaration we will achieve Biafra as a country. In this 21st century, the world has changes everything. And my happiness is that what the world will change is in my own favor. Honestly, their changing is what favors me. Their changes is what will stop the arrest of Okongozo Rabeze, because they call it what? A peaceful declaration, non-violence declaration. That is what Okongozo Rabeze did. That is only how we can achieve Biafra in this 21st century that we are into. Any other thing that anyone is telling you, one upper counterfeit, 419 no other group. The only group you have, the only thing you have is USV are declared to Okongozo Rabeze. That is how every country in Africa today achieve their country, through a peaceful declaration. Those in the exile, those in the conquest of the colonial masters, all of them happens in that time. But in this our own time, what they choose is what? In that earlier 80s and 20th centuries, the world adopted military war. Military must talk. Military must not vote. That was the adopter. And people follows in that way. He gives some people some country, but it not favor us. The military aspect of free time of school code, the military actions or the regime actions of military in time of our beloved hero Chukwuemeka Odumegwu did not favor us. Now that they have changed, let us change and see how. Now we have those who read and write, who can match them. Biafra movement after Chukwuemeka Odumegwu all mota out na-eli dia and now accuse social media. And the Muslim can make it openly that anybody who will fight for freedom or who leads Biafra movement must be well read, must be Odogu. She read very well. She's Odogu woman, and she can explain herself at anywhere she finds herself. That is what I will give you Biafra, not in this Isiaki, not Isiaki like Ogenkere, not Isiaki like Mamadou Abu, not Isiaki like Bam Bam Bam, not Isiaki like I don't know. These people cannot listen and face the reality. Forget that thing. Take the message, leave the messenger.
2. Responsibility to protect, R2P. In the 21st century, sovereignty is no longer seen as a right to own land, but as a responsibility to protect people.
I hope you are hearing it. In this 21st century, sovereignty is no longer seen a right to owner of a land. Hey, your land was acquired by the Nigerian government and you claim sovereignty. Our people, you will change by force. Recognition is what will change all of you by force. For those who want to call us, be getting ready because we are coming to an end of the program. Like I said, number to call remains plus 97336051 You want to call us to contribute or to praise USB, to praise Omozo Beze for a peaceful declaration of the United States of Biafra government for you and for me, that will save me, that I will have my country, I will live the way I want. Remember this, look at this word. In this 21st century that started in 2001 and is going to end in 2100, listen, in the 21st century, sovereignty is no longer seen as a right to the owner of land, but as a responsibility to protect people. That is the sovereignty in this 21st century. That is how you get recognition from the UN. When you protect your people, like what USB is doing, and you are doubting it. Okay, from now till end of this December, it will be shocked. They play. Continue doing yourself more harm than good.
Shift. If a military force controls a territory but uses that power to commit atrocities or fails to provide basic services, healthcare, food, legal identity, they lose their legitimacy.
When a military refuses to protect their people, protect schools, health centers, food, they have lose their words, their respects. They lose their name. They become rebel.
Governance. A government in exile that manages a civil ID system, provides education, or coordinates aid, demonstrates it can fulfill the responsibilities of a state, even if it currently lacks the physical territory.
Are you hearing it? That the government in exile, even though if he lacks a physical territory, that UN will recognize them. EU will recognize them. So far, they maintain on peaceful aspect of it. On this peaceful mandate of the USB we are declared is the only Ebano. Is the only way for you to have this Biafra that we have been fighting for many decades. Check very well. Now, the world has given us an soft landed. Let us go through that way. 4 men has fight for Biafra, they did not get it. Mazi Chukwuemeka Odumegwu in the grave. Was Wike fought in his own capacity, he could not make it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the prison. Simon Ekpa in the prison. Now let a woman support woman. Let man support women. Let women do it for us. Let us go free. Because none of a leader that is a woman who fought for the independence of their country was arrested, put in prison. The world refused to arrest them because you know how issue of woman, when woman support woman, it becomes a trouble. So the world refused to. The world always afraid of touching a woman who is fighting for a new country. Let's go and get it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, when a woman in America joins the movement that Biafra has come, why are you changing that narrative? Why can't you give it a try? Now a woman in America declares the independence of United States of Biafra through a government in exile. What are you still waiting for? What is your problem? Go and bring your father to go and declare it now. Go and bring your mother. Why can't you declare it in Finland? Are you not there? You know on social media. La Finland. Nwata nwanyị akwụkwọ to declare ya. Ejidọba Tobi, look like all hope has gone. She come out and address Biafrans. Ebeke when am address Biafrans? Ebeke. When she give us hope, when all hope has lost, this woman come out and address Biafrans. Everywhere they declare Biafra. But na akọ yira, na kill social media. Ekwesu gbakwa ga egwu isi. Jekwa alọga alọ.
3. Economic and legal interoperability. In a globalized world, a country is more than just a piece of land. It is a node in a global network of banks, airlines, and trade. Why ID matters more than tanks. A military.
Listen why ID card matters so much, more than even a test of military. Listen. This is a bitter truth. Oh no, but I must tell you this thing. These are criteria. These are templates that USB will follow for us to achieve Biafra as a country. for us to achieve recognition right now in this 21st century through a peaceful declaration by government in exile.
It can hold a city, but it cannot sign a trade deal if no one accepts its paperwork. If an exiled government's ID cards and passports are the ones recognized by international banks and border agencies, that government remains effective in the global economy, while the military force remains isolated.
I hope you are listening. Why ID card matters than what we think. A military can hold a city, but it cannot sign a treaty deal if no one accepts it. Paperwork. If exile government issues ID card, passport, are the ones organized by international bank, the ID card. Today, Biafra ID card, any contract we are into, once you show it is being recognized, ị na-eche nna gị nwụrụ anwụ ka ọ bịa declare gị Biafra. Ị na-eche nna gị nọ n'ime ili ka ọ bịa zụrụ ọbịa pụta bịa buru ya n'isi. If an exile government issue ID card and passport, and those ones organized by international banks and the bodies and agencies, that government remains effective in the global economy. Why military forces remain isolated in this 21st century? Government in exile, civilians declaration, peaceful declaration, democracy, not autocracy. Military regime is autocracy. We are no longer in the era of autocracy. Continue.
4. Human rights as a foundation. Modern recognition, like in the cases of Libya in 2011 or Venezuela in 2019, often follows the Tobar Doctrine or the democratic legitimacy test.
There is those that has passed this road we are passing today. Libya in 2011, Venezuela in 2019. Are you hearing it? Things that we are passing. People has gone through that and they achieve it. That is why we must. And there, even could Biafra. Never a chief was here and asking also how we are anya n'ọdụ. Never a chief one ask no problem to those the was when born with it. Ndị ba echifu na asị na onye amara ụzọ esi ekute ebe mmiri nọ ya soro mpekele ejikọ garuo na mmiri unu echefuchala ya unu enwe ikile kọntrị ndị ọzọ anya otu ha si wee mee metụna nke gị ịnọ na-amụ ụkwa ịnọ na-akị social media ụmụ nwoke anọ ya ụmụ nwoke ugo 247 nọ ya na-akọ da Simon nwoke ala akọ nwaanyị ọkụkọ arụ mekwa ọkọ maazị ka wee kwuo na ụmụ nwoke anọzikwa na-akị inye everywhere. Look at it here. It happens in Libya, 2011. It happened in Venezuela, 2019. In this 21st century, it happens.
Governments that take power by force, coups/military juntas, are increasingly denied recognition.
Are you here this particular area? A government that take power by force, by coup, military junta, are increasingly denied recognition. They will not see Gentle and Botozo know the truth and come out from it. Stop. The time we are into is no longer the time of the era of military. It is the time of a democracy held by civilians, not by military power. That's why I told you, if any government take power by force, with the government in exile or no government in exile in this 21st century, that the world will. Why is it what all of you want? Is for the world to deny us recognition. To fear upon a matter of one. That is why the government lie low. Tell the Biafra military, please do not showcase social media. Allow us to represent a peaceful country that we achieve national recognition. That is where the world is. That is where the world is. If we maintain this level and let our people to understand this, another Rama and what they are doing is meaningless. What Chiamaka Ajere is doing, you for how many years you want to Chiamaka Ajere know that he's a liar? That is where we see our people. The problem our people share is where they talk about Chiamaka Ajere, the headmaster. That is the one we like to share. That is where we like to go. I already know it by myself. I already know it. That this time we are into, the game has changed. The world has changed. The world they believe one asịrị. Ndị a na-akọ. Ihe ndị ahụ bụ internal matter. If we are 10 people social media, if 5 of us are educating our people, lecturing our people, each of the international community will be better. Not 5 or 4. 3 are talking about Adandosh. Are you not feel irritated when you're watching Adandosh? All these people that are now active on social media, what are you getting from that place? How can that thing help us on the level of international community? How can it help us to behave for you to know that ID card is a physical movement that give recognition? When over 10,000 Biafrans have USB ID card, recognition is automatic. If over 10,000 Biafrans take ID card, our recognition is automatic. People use it in the past. Like I said, tomorrow, I will give you 2 or 3 countries because of the large number of the citizens in diaspora and the homeland taking the ID card, they got recognition, they have a seat in the UN. Not by military, not by show force, not by Mapandaibo. The world has walked away from that and they have moved forward. Move forward. Change is constant in life. Take the message, leave the messenger. The world said if any of us try to use by force against Nigeria, that they will deny us recognition. They will sanction us. Is it what you want? Why can't you maintain peace? And they say that if peace declaration can give recognition under 2 years, that through a hard way of military will take 20 years. This is 2026. I want to show you one thing. From now until 2030, we are in the homeland. Take it or you leave it. You don't know. The angels of recognition are passing. They must organize USB, whether they like it or not, as the only peaceful government in exile that make declaration. Because now your own never do any recognition. Your own did not do, their own, that your BGC did not declare Biafra. There is no peaceful declaration. Fake Ogenkere did not make any declaration. In the video of everywhere, who made declaration of Ngozi Arabeze? She is the one who made the declaration and she's alive. That is why Ogenkere want to find a way to buy her, but Chukwuka Abiyama says no. 2 Donald Trump are coming. Now, on this Donald Trump issue, Biafra is number 1 in the criteria, but you never know. You will know by force.
Governments that maintain a civilian structure, even in exile, are preferred because they represent a return to the rule of law rather than the rule of the gun.
The world wants rule of the law, not rule of the gun. Gentle Butozo, the world don't want rule of gun, they want rule of the law by a peaceful declaration through a government in exile. That is what the world wants. Reality, governments that maintain a civilian structure, even in exile, are preferred because they represent a return of the rule of law rather than the rule of the gun. The world has moved away from gun. They have moved away from gun. They have moved away to depend. Oh, Biafra can only come through Naki Woto. That time has changed. The Simon you are following, you claim is your boss. Even though today that the Biafra Liberation Army has denied Obatopie, watch their comments. One, as the Kunason was playing his video, was only talking about how they were ESN. They mentioned now Mazi Nandekan. They didn't mention Simon Eba. Look at it too. Where we are. Lots of things are going on. Do not be confused. Remain strong in USB. That is where all the hope lies on. And on that hope, you become a nation. You become what? A nation.
Summary table. 20th versus 21st century recognition. Feature. 20th century, realpolitik. 21st century, legalism. Primary goal. Who has the army in the capital? Who is the legitimate representative? Core value. Physical control. Human rights and democracy. Key document. Army manifestos. National ID and civil registry. UN stance. Recognition of whoever wins. Non-recognition of force-based gains. Note, this doesn't mean the military is useless. In a perfect world, you need effective governance to be recognized, and security military to protect that recognition. One gives you the right to exist, the other gives you the ability to stay. Would you like me to analyze a specific recent case, such as the National Unity Government, NUG of Myanmar, or the Venezuelan opposition, to see how they used ID systems to fight for recognition?
Those who use ID card to fight for recognition, not military. I want you to take listen to this last place. After here, if you are free to call, if you want to call and thank USB, and say something about what we had this night, the number to call remain +97 3360 51337. That is the number to call. In USB peaceful declaration is what the world introduced in this 21st century. 21st century started from 2001, is going to end in 2100, and we are in 2026, and the law has become effective. Listen, note in summary, this does not mean that military is useless. No. In a perfect world, you need effective government in exile to be recognized, to protect the recognition. You need military. Once we get recognition, that is why that man from Austria, the NATO chairman, who said, America recognize Biafra, give them weapon for them to go and defend their land against Nigeria. You must use a peaceful declaration to achieve recognition. Once recognition comes, Nigeria refuses to leave. That is when we will not go to nobody will sanction us. Nobody will sanction you. Nobody will arrest you as a military, because by that time you are on your right, because the world has called you a country where Nigeria refuses to recognize you. It happens in time of America. It happens in time of America. It happened in their own case. So I want you to understand it clearly. I want you to listen to truth, to bitter truth. Listen to this. This is what I have been listening on my own. That is why I support USB with all my blood. If you are my brother, you are against USB, I must be against you. Listen to this. I'll be back. You can also call on this number. Somebody is on my door. Please, my brother is back. Please, you can call.
In the 21st century, international law has shifted its focus from who has the biggest gun to who has the right to rule. While the 19th and early 20th centuries were dominated by the effective control doctrine, whoever physically holds the capital is the government, the modern era prioritizes effective governance and democratic legitimacy. Here is why international law now favors an organized, peaceful government over mere military force. 1. The Stimson Doctrine and the ban on force. Modern international law is built on the principle that sovereignty cannot be gained through aggression. The rule, under the Montevideo Convention and the UN Charter, territorial status gained through a legal military force is not supposed to be recognized. The result, if a government in exile can prove it represents the will of the people through ID systems, civil administration, and elections, while the group in power only has military control, the international community is legally obligated to lean toward the peaceful administration. 2. Responsibility to protect, R2P. In the 21st century, sovereignty is no longer seen as a right to own land, but as a responsibility to protect people. The shift. If a military force controls a territory but uses that power to commit atrocities or fails to provide basic services, healthcare, food, legal identity, they lose their legitimacy. Effective governance. A government in exile that manages a civil ID system, provides education, or coordinates aid demonstrates it can fulfill the responsibilities of a state, even if it currently lacks the physical territory. 3. Economic and legal interoperability. In a globalized world, a country is more than just a piece of land. It is a node in a global network of banks, airlines, and trade. Why ID matters more than tanks. A military can hold a city, but it cannot sign a trade deal if no one accepts its paperwork. If an exiled government's ID cards and passports are the ones recognized by international banks and border agencies, that government remains effective in the global economy, while the military force remains isolated. 4. Human rights as a foundation. Modern recognition. like in the cases of Libya in 2011 or Venezuela in 2019, often follows the Tobar Doctrine or the democratic legitimacy test. Governments that take power by force, coups/military juntas, are increasingly denied recognition. Governments that maintain a civilian structure, even in exile, are preferred because they represent a return to the rule of law rather than the rule of the gun. Summary table: 20th versus 21st century recognition. Feature: 20th century, realpolitik. 21st century, legalism. Primary goal: who has the army in the capital? Who is the legitimate representative? Core value: physical control, human rights and democracy. Key document: Army manifestos, national ID and civil registry. UN stance: recognition of whoever wins. Non-recognition of force-based gains. Note: this doesn't mean the military is useless. In a perfect world, you need effective governance to be recognized, and security military to protect that recognition. One gives you the right to exist, the other gives you the ability to stay. Would you like me to analyze a specific recent case, such as the National Unity Government (NUG) of Myanmar or the Venezuelan opposition, to see how they used ID systems to fight for recognition?
Look at it here. There is two things here. One, government recognized, not military. Do you see who do I see? Is it Gento was calling for another self-referendum? That is undermining the over 50 million votes that have already been casted. Could you believe that? And he never knew that he doesn't have such rights to call for a self-referendum. That is only a peaceful civilian government can do that, which is what USB declared is doing already. That is why it's very important. That is why we have to stand on our mandate. We must protect this USB declared as only the government we have that will protect us and guide us, that will give us the recognition we are looking for. Remember, our ID card is very important. Our ID card is one of the most things that will lead us to what? For us to have recognition. Please, if you never like the program, please I urge you to like. If you not subscribe, this Read Biafra TV. Please subscribe on this page. Subscribe on the page if you can, please. If you're first time joining us, you might see a three dot in front of your phone. Click on that three dot. You will see like and share. Then like the program. This is what I have today for the Biafran people. And like I said, if we have only 20 minutes to stay, if you can call us, you are free to call right now to give your voice in what we are doing and explain what you understand, why you must support USB, why you must support our peaceful declaration, and why you think or that this international law of this particular time that we are into, that is the only option we have, that is the best way for us to achieve Biafra. Please do me the favor of liking the program, sharing, and subscribe on our page. These days, from now till next 2 days, we will be coming online once in a day. Once we will spend almost 2 hours, 3 to 3 hours. We go because of our time where we are. If you're not subscribed, help me to do subscribe on this page. Then listen as we are summarizing. I am going to play the first section and the second section of what we did this evening, so you can have it in your mind as we are going. Remember, ID card gives automatic recognition. Over 10,000 Biafrans out of the 50 million. If we have this ID card, both home and diaspora, we have automatically becomes a member of the UN, and we have achieved a peaceful recognition that we are seeking for. So listen, if you want to call us, we are free to call our number. The same number I am calling is the number we use on WhatsApp, where we post all these laws of the UN. Let me tell you, if anybody come and tell you, forget about UN, it's not true. Even though that UN is corrupt, they are the one in charge. Even though EU is corrupt, they are the one in charge. Even though AU is corrupt, they are the one in charge. We cannot achieve Biafra without these bodies. We cannot achieve this Biafra without these bodies, and this is a protocol we must undergo. For us to get it very easy, we must keep in line, accept their laws, their treaties, and just see, There's a time a stubborn child who wants he wants his land from his father's hand. He must answer a father, sir. He was pleased the father before he cannot get the land with the fight. I'm proving to the father, I know he's more than me, that will tell you I can get this land. It's a pure lie. The UN is the father. EU is the father. AU is the father. So we must obey their laws for us to have Biafra fully. Then we can decide to exit out from them. Take it or you leave it. You are free to call.
In the 21st century, international law has undergone a major shift. While the 20th century prioritized effective control, whoever has the most soldiers, the modern era prioritizes legitimate governance. Between a peaceful government in exile and a military commander, or junta, international law now increasingly favors the former, provided they can prove they represent the legal and democratic will of the people. 1. Which is more important? The peaceful government in exile is more important for legal, de jure recognition. The military commander is more important for factual de facto recognition. In the 21st century, the world has
This
realized
de facto government they're talking about, where Liberation Army can hold, is where one number two beer is here. Before our declaration, we are in de facto government. Is it not true? That is the junior level. The bigger daddy in the house is the Joe recognition, which is the one that USB is looking for right now. That is where military is involved. That one is time we show the world that USB, that government in exile that is about to declare United States of Biafra has military. That is just all. A show of game. Don't you now think, or let me remind you something. If we don't need declaration, why is Obato just said, until we make this peaceful declaration, that is when we are serious. That without this peaceful declaration, that we are just making on social media. Remember that. Continue.
that an army can occupy a city, but it cannot represent a nation's soul, its bank accounts, or its treaties. A government in exile that maintains a civil identity, issuing IDs, managing social programs, or holding a mandate, is viewed as the holder of the state's sovereignty, even if it doesn't hold the land. 2. Which law applies? The legal framework. What it says, UN Charter, Article 2.4, prohibits the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. This means military commanders who take power by force are technically illegal under global law. The Tobar Doctrine, a modern legal standard stating that governments born from coups or revolutions should not be recognized until they are constitutionally confirmed. This protects peaceful exiles. Montevideo Convention, traditionally required effective control, but modern interpretations, since the 1990s, focus on the capacity to enter into relations. A government in exile with an ID system and diplomatic ties often has more capacity than an isolated military junta. Responsibility to protect, R2P. Sovereignty is no longer a right to rule, but a duty to protect. If a military commander harms the population, they lose their legal standing, even if they have the guns. 3. Why the peaceful declaration wins in the 21st century. The international community now uses inhibitory recognition against military leaders for several reasons. The banking barrier. To access a country's gold reserves or foreign bank accounts, like in the cases of Libya or Venezuela, you need legal title. Courts in London or New York look for a legitimate government, not just a military commander. The ID card factor. An ID card is a contract between a state and a citizen. If a government in exile can maintain that contract, issuing passports or documents recognized by others, they are performing the functions of a state without the violence. The cost of sanctions. Military commanders are easily sanctioned under the Global Magnitsky Act or UN resolutions. A peaceful government in exile, however, can receive international aid and legitimacy funding. Summary. If you are a military commander, you have the territory, but you are often a squatter in the eyes of the law. If you are a peaceful government in exile with a civil ID system, you have the sovereignty, but you are a guest. In the modern world, sovereignty, the ID law, is much harder to take away than territory, the land. Would you like me to draft a comparison of how the UN currently treats a specific group, like the Myanmar Nuji versus the military junta, to see these laws in action?
I hope you are listening carefully and you will understand the only thing we have to save us in this moment that we're into is USB re-declared through the government in Exile. That is the only option you have. You see, all things that are flying up and flying down, they goes nowhere. And I want to close by letting you to know that I told you that there is 75 Exile governments in the world. Out of these 75 Exile governments, there is effective 40. Out of the effective 40, USB is taking number 5. Then in that number 5 out of the 40, they screenshot it down. They do a thorough screening of those that are very powerful, doing everything, showing that they are a country in waiting. Out of the first 10, USB is in number 4. The USB that I'm talking about is USB that just declared. We are talking about those who has been there before us. USB beat all of them hands down in under 1 year, and we are in the 4th position. Think of when we cross 3 years or 2 years where we are going to be in the international community. Recognition is approaching. Support USB. Give your fund. Understand why it is important for you to support USB. It's only peaceful declaration is what the international global community are listening to right now. The new law of 21st century that through a peaceful declaration by a government in exile leads to a new nation that goes to seek through diplomatic and political pressure to have what? International recognition, not military. My people, we are going to end it up here until we come back again tomorrow. Just subscribe on the YouTube page if you never do that. Once you touch the like button, you will see where you subscribe. Subscribe on the page, keep notification on, and you will know. Then if you want us to add you on our WhatsApp group where we post all these laws and what will help us achieve, help this government to achieve recognition, contact or send hi on number +973360513337. Then we reach out to you and add you on that group, so you will be getting all the important information that we're reaching out. Mazike Jesus. Hello, Ike Jesus. Good evening from here. You are welcome to the Hello platform.
Yeah. My brother.
Ike Jesus.
Am I here?
Yes, you are coming out.
Can
Loud and clear.
you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right.
Okay.
Good evening from my here. Good evening to Biafra. Good evening Odogunna Dekano. Good evening Atakata Obo. One of United States of Biafra. Samoneka. Good evening Ukunamo Gadadro Nebota. Ukawan. Aguan. DK. Why is your mom?
Yes, sir.
Nemuro Biafra. Mommy knows. I can find it. Can I give my cabinet again? Can I give my Roman Carrier? Can I get the Mozart? Hey, my brother. That's something I want to ask you again.
Go on.
Please. You say something now. 40 countries. Inside the 40 countries, the serious one is 10. Inside the 10, and where is it? I want you to
Number 4. USB is in number 4 as the only exile government of any name called Biafra. United States of Biafra, government in exile, is in number 4, leading by Tongozi Arabeze. No other one.
Under how many years?
Under a year and 6 months.
Let me run from here. Under a year and not up to 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Not up to 2 years.
No, I said under a year and 6 months. Yes, we are number, not up to 2 years. We are number 4.
Not up to 2 years, and we are number 4. Onye siri ike adịrọ ike dị n'ọbara ike dị ọbara ike dị n'ọbara ya. Biko na ụmụnne m, anyị jikọ onwe anyị o.
Anyị ji onwe anyị.
Especially ndị nọ diaspora. Anyị jikọ onwe anyị.
Diaspora ji Biafra ịla. Hapụ nye lebe na homeland. Diaspora ji.
Anyị ji onwe anyị. They are talking about 10,000.
Only.
Those in Germany can do this. You must find the bank in Germany. You must find the bank in France. You will for UK. We can do this. Why are we waiting ourselves? Please, our people to rise up. We can hit more than 10,000. What is 10,000? Europe, Asia, America. Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Hello?
Loud and clear. We are hearing you loud and clear.
Hello?
Ike Jesus, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Hello?
You are coming out loud and clear, Ike Jesus. The network from his side, not from us, because you can see that our side is very clear. As you can see. Yes, he called back. We are hearing you loud and clear. It's from your own side.
Okay, because I did not hear again. That is why I called.
Yes, you are hearing loud and clear. Go on.
So, only Asia and Europe have very more than 20 million.
My leg is paining me.
No, you know Europe. Caucus of America. Any Joanne under a year and day upon all these mediocres, upon all these betrayers, upon all this fighting, upon all this fallback group, what they have done to this movement. We are number 4. My brother, let us wake up, my people. Go and register. Go and collect this ID card. You want a paper? You want a paper? Is you okay? ID go okay.
And this paper, this ID card, it saves you from deporting.
The part of government they will submit. And I want to correct this impression. Some people saying men on the ground. Please, United States of Africa do not have men on the ground. They have changed the men. Everybody that answering engine, men on the ground, is not United States of Biafra military. And the name of the military is Leave Force. Please, because international community is watching us.
Yes. Sir.
Tomorrow they go target is USB military, JUNTA and the Govt and co. they are not. They are not. We should try to address this issue because tomorrow now Nigeria will go and target. Look at them. That them did it so. They will come and deny. They will come and deny our recognition, but we pass them. So they are not. The name of our military is least call. Please, you people should start addressing it this way, so that international community, those that are watching, we understand that our least squad are not coming out. They are under training. So these ones that are making noise, they are rebels. We are not going to hold apology for talking this truth because they can never deny over 80 million citizens because of their selfish interest and the rubbish they are doing with and Imam Madhab roadside mechanic and always Nona Italy and what is in Ocha and Utobo France. They are not going to stop us. They are rebels. We are moved on. Our people know the truth. And the truth right now, to make sure that you support yourself, it is your freedom. It's not about Dotongo Zorabeze. It is your freedom. It is our freedom. This now have come to us. It is we that we decide. They have declared and they have thrown it to the citizen. Oya, through the ID card. Let's see whether the citizen will support you. Let's see whether the population that is saying that do referendum will support you. This is how they put it right now. It's not about gun. Do you see? It came for us because they know that the original country they have a power hand to destroy those that are looking for their freedom. That is why they take away gun and bullets and armor car and fighter jet. Wherever you declare your nation, you do it through ID card. Please, my people, let's wake up. It is in our hands. That is why Dr. Ngozi Oradebe was shouting that time. This freedom is our hand right now.
Exactly.
We have to decide it.
Yes. Now, another person is calling. Yes, now Bokotia, I want to born case you put your breath time.
So, please, this is my.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
To all of us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you and God bless my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is it. We are holding ourselves. Take the ID card and everything is in line. Yes. Maz, good evening from here. You are welcome to the platform.
Hello, good evening. Maz Biafra TV.
Thank you so much.
This is God is with me from Holland.
Yeah, I can see. I can understand.
Okay. Thank you, my Maz.
We thank God. You woke up and I don't know. I ain't up here.
You see, my brother, I watch you. I need to know. I stand about our declaration. I wish now I want to go ID card in Holland. I have to go see it.
Yes, one of your brother is coming.
We cannot wait.
We
cannot wait to have it in Holland. You see, God bless you. I have more Adam na WhatsApp.
Yes, that is where we post all these things. So for someone to read and educate himself without even when we are not online. Yes. So you keep yourself busy with something. To know the truth. That nobody will confuse you. You know the truth by yourself. After the program now, we post this UN chapter online. People see they are no longer using Militray as a criteria for a new nation.
Yes.
It's no longer there.
Yes. I have been from the one say for I want to go to the genuine. So I have my candidate call that. Oh, I don't think that is in Orlando. Just on this now, but on Orlando.
Yeah.
I was on this now, on Orlando. So, that's my wife. I'm within a full from day one. On the full from day one, we know I'm my fan. I'm gonna man double the man double the real. So thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for calling. Yes,
Yeah.
that is what we need.
Yeah.
All this support is all we needed. Call to encourage us to do more.
Yes.
Then also, when you feel like there is something you need to know about the government, send message on that WhatsApp group. I will research it, bring it out here. We use and do program. I want Biafrans to be giving me job, what I will do. Bring that thing that is bothering you, send it to me. I'm not going to tweet on a local. We will ask the question, for research where that thing is, we find it out, we bring it out here, we educate ourselves. That is one thing I believe so much. It's my belief.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. You did well. Thank you. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Yes, my fellow Biafrans, you had it here. Go and take Biafra ID card. Forget any other story. Take this ID card so you can be able to go home. Take USB ID card once you are in diaspora. Even if you don't have paper in a country where you are, only this ID card saves you from deportation once you're not a criminal. If any country catches you, any country you are today, and you have this ID card because of there is no paper, the ID card gives you automatic asylum. The only thing we do, anywhere you go with this ID card. Anywhere you are, stay with this ID card. It's very important. Do not commit any crime. But if it happens to issue of deportation, with USB ID card, nobody will deport you. Because once the ID card appears, they find out that, oh, you have your government in exile, so you are fighting a new country. You are good to go. My people, like I said, we are going to end it up here. There is something I'm supposed to read out about those that are writing against Rabeze, Solomon Nkwocha and his gang, that uses Biafra is my region to parrot a false information. But maybe by tomorrow or after this, I will do the posting on the group so you can get it from there. Thank you so much. Until we see again tomorrow. This is how we come to an end of this program. Remember, USB on the right track. No more military action in this 21st century. The world has moved away from military power to a civilian's peaceful declaration with government in exile to achieve a new country. Thank you so much. We end it up here. This is 12 a.m. here. I'm going to go and rest now to prepare for my work tomorrow morning until we come back again. You see us. From me, from here, it is a wonderful night. Thank you so much.